Okay, I'll call the meeting of the September 20th Fire District to order. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
God,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It was just like in third grade. Okay. Chris, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, ma'am. And just a reminder that because we're on a digital meeting, you just need to state that you're attending remotely, and you need to state the state of Michigan, county of Allegan, and then wherever you're at, whether it's city of Saugatuck, Saugatuck Township, as well as your name. So it'd be like, state of Michigan, county of Allegan, Chris Mannels attending remotely from Saugatuck Township. So Stacy Aldrich.
Yes, here, the state of Michigan, Allegan County, attending remotely from Saugatuck Township.
Thank you. Beckman.
Here, Eric Beckman, state of Michigan, Allegan County, attending remotely from Saugatuck Township.
Thank you. Dan Fox.
State of Michigan, city of Saugatuck, attending remotely from the city of Saugatuck, and that's in Allegan County. I think I got it all.
Perfect. Thank you. Jane Verplank.
City of Saugatuck, Allegan County, Michigan, attending remotely.
Thank you. Scott Phelps.
State of Michigan, Allegan County, Saugatuck Township.
Attending remotely. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Taru Pullen.
State of Michigan, County of Allegan, Taru, attending remotely.
Thank you. And
Douglas.
and Aaron Miller.
Aaron from attending remotely from state of Michigan, county of Allegan, city of Douglas.
Perfect. Thank you. And Chief Janik.
Greg Janik, attending remotely, state of Michigan, Allegan County, Saugatuck Township.
That should be everyone, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Could we turn off the cell phones and try not to text during the meeting? And let's move on to the approval of the agenda, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as it stands.
This is Aldrich, I'll support.
Okay. I have a motion by Phelps and support by Aldrich. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. Phelps.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes,
Pullen.
Yes,
Beckman.
Yes.
Fox.
Yes,
Verplank.
Yes.
And Miller.
Yes.
Passes 7-0, Madam Chair.
Okay, moving on to the approval of the minutes of the August 16th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 16th, 2021 minutes.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Pullen, a second by Phelps to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion, please? Hearing no discussion, could we have a roll call vote?
Yes, ma'am. Pullen.
Yes,
Phelps.
Yes.
Aldrich.
yes,
Beckman.
Yes.
Fox.
yes,
Verplank.
Yes.
And Miller.
Yes.
Passes 7-0, ma'am.
Okay, we have a request for payments. Peter's not with us today.
Oh, public comment first, madam.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Public comment. Is there anybody that wishes to comment?
Just a reminder, you can either use the raise hand button in the participant screen or press *9 if you're calling in by phone. I am seeing none.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the request for payments. Peter's not with us today. He's in New Hampshire, so could I have a motion to approve the accounts payable, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable for $157,547.47.
I'll support.
I have a motion by Phelps and support by Beckman. Is there any discussion? Okay, moving, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. Phelps,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Fox,
yes,
Verplank,
Yes.
Poland,
yes,
and Miller.
Yes.
Passes 7-0, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I do have one question. I'm sorry.
Alrighty.
You maybe can't even answer, maybe Greg can, but what is Weber and Olsey's PLC payroll?
That, yeah, that looks like, that looks like for engineering, Weber and Oakland. I have to look that up. I don't know.
Yeah,
Peter has the receipts and he usually has them on hand with him.
Go, it's on page 7 about
Yep, I got it.
way down.
For $386.78.
No, I have another one for 193.39.
All right, so I'm on page 6, so there's another one.
Yeah.
I don't recognize this.
It's not a law firm, is it?
no, I think, isn't PLC accountants usually?
Well, if it's accountants, it's one that we don't, that I'm aware
No,
of.
me
Oh,
either.
I
I've
know
never heard
what
of them.
this is. This is a garnishee of wages from that firm. So this would be between
There you
the
go.
garnishee and the
You're right, Jane.
person who was garnished.
Right.
Oh.
It's a garnishment of wages. You're right.
Okay, moving on. Can we have the agenda back, Chris?
Yeah. I think you're up to the financial report, but since Peter's not here, I don't know.
Financial report, moving on. Fire chief's comments.
Okay, we will go to the incident reports. Thank you all for attending. August was a pretty substantial month. Basically, what do the fire board representatives, what would they would like take back to their jurisdictions? We're up about 13% from last year. Still behind 2019. 2020 saw a dip in calls. So that's why you've got an increase from last year. Response times, pretty true to the matrix. Motor vehicle incidents, you'll see third, fourth, fifth bullet. You can see motor vehicle incidents are up and will continue to rise. You'll also see in the data charting, there's a new chart that was suggested. We are tracking alcohol-related incidents and marijuana incidents are starting to enter our arena. So we thought we would work on this. This is a draft that Eric and I have refined. I had the ideas and Eric puts that in writing, and Eric's done an exceptional job. ETOH is the scientific term that we use. We usually don't use alcohol on scene. We'll say ETOH. That's what that means.
what does it
So-
stand for?
It's the alcohol, it's a chemical composite of alcohol, Taru,
okay.
you know,
Ethyl alcohol, yeah.
right.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So rather than telling a paramedic, oh, I think there's alcohol, you go ETOH is suspected. And then they look at it, you know, and then they'll do a breathalyzer. So. we
How do they
refrain-
test for marijuana?
That's a problem.
Do they
That's a
just start
problem.
saying I used it? Or they
Most
find
of them will admit that, just like they'll admit alcohol.
Mhm.
But when we know, particularly when we're responding to, I took a caramel or a brownie, they tell us because they feel so ill.
Mhm.
So we know it and we document it in the report, just like I said, I drank Drano.
Right.
They tell us so. Starting to creep into our response. So we thought it was time to start documenting. So
Mhm.
everyone was aware of what's going on. You can see total impaired complaints run about 10% in this 2021 year. So can you go to the next page, please, Chris?
Yeah, you want of this one.
Yep, next then, that one right there. Eric, since you were the chief author on this, do you have anything you would like to share with the fire board?
Let's see. We actually have we have two slides here. Oops, I don't know where my camera is pointing. Okay. We have two slides. This is the first one that actually shows for the last three full years and so far year to date this year. And you can see I've arranged them in various configurations for ETOH and marijuana. And so here you can see how they measure up on an annual basis. If we go to the next one.
I think this is the last one. So back one, you mean, maybe?
Yeah, there should be another one.
Yeah.
If you go one step forward.
All right, that's the last one.
Yes, this one. Let's see. There should be two of these. We have had the situation with what we call a frequent patient, and that actually skewed the numbers quite a bit for 2018 to 2020.
Oh. I wonder if it's in the regular stats, actually.
Is it
Oh.
tech-
Yeah, not sure.
Yeah, okay. But because of that the patient, the data was quite skewed. She was kind of clocking in for almost half of the incidents per year. So, but it's still a rather new data set. So we are still in the process of refining it, but it's basically how the building blocks will be for this one.
Thanks, Eric. Any questions on this?
Yeah, it says excluding one frequent patient. I don't need to know the name or like that, but what does this one frequent patient always do?
It's an alcohol situation, Teresa.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, moving on. Do we have cost recovery in your
Yep.
filings? Okay, so basically what is the board, what would they like to know, at least what I think you'd like to know? We are still proactive in that ordinance, and when we can, if there's something illegal, we invoice. So you can see we've collected a little over $6,000 in cost recovery fees for 2021. And I think we have we billed 15,500. So just want to let you know what is going on with cost recovery. We just recently set out 2 more. Community risk reduction wise, we're in the 84 of fatalities related to fires so far in 2021. Grants. I'm very happy to share with the fire board and members of the public that the fire department has been awarded another FEMA grant. A lot of competition with this, in the amount of over $38,000. While there is a grant team, we all look at it and contribute. The chief author was Chris Mantles. This particular grant will give us exercise equipment. It will give us physicals, and it will give us some vaccination funding. So my congratulations to Chris and the grant team for getting another $38,000.
Great. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you.
That's good.
Welcome.
Always happy to share with somebody who does a level of training that, sticks out. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort. In this case is Mr. Phil Dalton, who was with us years ago. And Phil had taken a leave of absence, an extended leave of absence from the fire department, let his license lapse, but was able to go online and get training and get that license back. And he spent all the time doing it unpaid. And it was a lot of continued education credit. So please congratulate Phil Dalton on obtaining his medical first responder license.
Extend our congratulations to him, please.
I will tell him.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
That concludes my chief's comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We'll move on now to unfinished business. Item A is the subpoena and lawsuit. Greg, if you want to.
Yeah, I just wanted to brief the board and give them an update. I met with manager Joe Fry a week ago Monday. We talked briefly, and we are trying to get the lawyers to work out some sort of indemnification agreement. There's differences of opinions. And Joe's on, he can certainly add to this when I'm done if he likes, at the board's discretion. But what I wrote down, what Joe was told and relayed to me was that they're at risk of losing their insurance if they potentially sign this agreement and would become blacklisted. So I want to let the board know that's what we're at. And I do know there was correspondence today between our insurance company's legal counsel, fire district's legal counsel, and the township's legal counsel. So we are hopeful that this can all be resolved to everyone's satisfaction. And I mean that with all sincerity.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
I suppose because it's litigation related stuff, you have to be circumspect, but I'm assuming the indemnification, well, maybe I shouldn't assume. Can you explain who's being indemnified and what they're being indemnified for?
The fire district, both legal counsels for the fire district requested that agreement based on the resolution and based on the settlement. They felt it was going to protect the fire district, and they're the ones that requested it.
Is that because the water supply was below what was recommended, but yet still found acceptable?
Well, I guess my answer to that would be, my understanding is it was because it was reduced from what the code had said. And there's some details I don't know about, but I do understand that that was one of the situations, that the fire flow was reduced and everyone was trying to do the best they could with it. And I think it was just a way of moving forward with what was on the table, which was risk of a lawsuit.
And the comment about whatever participant at risk of losing their insurance, who's saying that? Which is that the applicant's attorney?
The township manager was told that I believe by the insurance company for the township, that if they signed it, they would be at risk of losing their insurance, or perhaps the rates get increased. And then blacklisted one, I don't think that's even ethical, let alone legal.
Okay,
I'd
Joe has his hand up. Would you like to speak to this, Joe?
Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Fry. It's nice to chat with you all again. So what we are currently working on is during the settlement agreement, the township requested the indemnification as part of, good faith with the fire department in the settlement process. What we're now working on is with an insurance company to meet their questions so that it can then fall under our insurance. And that's where we're at right now. The intention of the indemnification is to indemnify the fire department between the gap period before the water main is fully installed, which would be this spring. So it's more administrative and legal maneuvering that we have to go through, which we are having conversations with our insurance at this time. And hopefully we can get this all taken care of sooner rather than later.
So it really only relates to between now and whenever the fire or the water supply is provided to that site. Is that right?
Correct. After the water main and the 7 fire hydrants are installed, the indemnification will go away.
Thank you.
Is that how you understand it, Greg?
No, it is not. That's okay. Let the legal counsel. That's not my understanding of it at all.
Okay. Does anybody else have any more questions?
I've got a few, but I won't bog us down.
Okay.
That we
Alright.
straightened out?
Pardon me?
Understanding of it? Huh?
I don't know where that's coming from.
I don't either.
Who is that?
Somebody's open mic.
Okay, well, I guess we'll leave that in limbo then. And move on to item B, the letter on Old Allegan Road.
You want me to address that, Jane?
Sure, go ahead.
So what we have is the very effective letter that the board had sent caused quite an awareness with this. We had calls to the fire station about it, letters to the editor, a lot of awareness. I think it was a great thing on all levels. We know wholeheartedly the township's behind this as far as let's rectify the problem. They acknowledge there's an issue with that intersection. Most of you may realize there were 2 more incidents there this weekend in 16 hours. I think I shared that with you today. And that you have a layer of bureaucracy or layers of bureaucracy that we're trying to penetrate and waiting for the traffic study. And sometimes you get frustrated at the slow pace that happens. But I do know that it was an effective awareness letter. That's all I have to share with that, Jane.
Okay.
Whose decision is this ultimately? The county's?
Yeah, the county, but they follow state rules on Blue Star because they're the ones who run it. It's not local.
Well, I know.
And I
when
know that this was quite a process with getting a light in at 64th Street. Some of the people that were involved in that, it took years to get that traffic light in there. Obviously, there's a problem. I think the reason you're seeing more of it is because there's more traffic. But until we have a traffic study results presented to us, we don't know what that increase is. But I believe that's what's happened is there's a lot more cars transiting Blue Star in that area.
Chief, I don't know, I'm no expert on this, but I haven't seen any evidence that a traffic study is actually going on, which means that if I'm right, and if it's yet to come, that means the traffic study is going to take place after the tourist season.
Yeah.
Which seems kind of counter productive or useless.
Well, I know, Dan, I saw that they had the traffic counter tubing across the roadway in the township some time ago. That's what made me indicate they were counting cars or vehicular traffic. But I don't know. I'll reach out to Craig Atwood and just ask him.
Thank you.
Greg, I have one question. This,
Yes, sir.
we're going through the process and I understand it. Government moves slow. I guess I'm still scratching my head how they pushed the Douglas fiasco through when they changed that road, because that's still Blue Star.
I think that section is, it's just like the bridge, and the portion up the Maple is controlled by Saugatuck City. And they have the right to put in a light or not put in a light. And Douglas controls half of the bridge. That section was delegated care and custody to the municipalities. Whereas where we're at, that's township, which is regulated. There's state rules, as I believe Craig Atwood had reported.
Thank you.
The County Road Commission controls that piece of the Blue Star.
I talked to Brenda Marcy today, our road representative for the township, and she said they are having a meeting very soon, and we'll hope to pinpoint timeline with this issue. So stay tuned for that.
Good, thank you.
Okay, moving on to item C. The collective bargaining agreement between the Saugatuck Township Fire District and the Saugatuck Area Professional Firefighters Union.
I have a
I'm,
couple questions.
Yeah.
Correct. Page 33, workers' comp. It says, the third sentence now says for the authority. Shouldn't that be for the employer? We're not an authority, and it doesn't mention authority through any of it.
hold on, I'm sorry, True, on page 33, what section, where is it?
Article 17, workers' comp.
Yeah.
Third sentence. To continue work for the authority. Well, we're not an authority.
We,
And
well, authority, district, very similar names.
well, I guess all the way through, it's been referred to as the employer or the fire district. That's the only place it refers to as the authority. I didn't know if that made a difference or not.
Well, I can't answer that, Taru. What I can do is I would have to reach out to legal. I do know we have the union representative, Sean Abbey, online. If Jane, if you want to permit him. I
Sure,
don't know if
Sean,
he
go
has that
ahead.
in front of him.
Go ahead, Sean.
Good afternoon, board members. Thanks for allowing me to speak. That might be a good catch. A lot of times in first contracts, when we're going through the language, sometimes things are not exactly. That's why we do this process. We want it to be right. So I'm fine with getting that changed to reflect a district or whatever. The
I would say
employer,
employer.
employer is even a better one as far as I'm concerned, but that'd be fine with me. If the chief is fine with that and the board members agree, we can just make that friendly amendment and change that to employer.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I don't have any problem with that.
Okay, I have another one, page 34. Wage payments, first 26 weeks of absence. It says during the first 26 calendar weeks, blank is off work. I think it means the employee is, I think the employee got left out because that sentence doesn't make sense.
Okay, so under wage payments, the first 26 weeks of absence, is that it, True?
Yes,
During the first 26 weeks
26.
is off work.
you should say the employee is off work.
Yeah, what it reads now is it's rough, right, True? It's just,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. So we need that corrected.
During the first 26 calendar weeks, the employee is off.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct, yes.
I don't see why we couldn't add that too.
Do you
Okay.
agree with that, Sean? Let's keep this all.
Yes, for sure. Let's correct that. A lot of times when you're reading this thing, because it's such a long document, you insert the stuff yourself, in your head. I'm sure that's probably what happened. So that
Yes.
was a pretty good catch. And I appreciate many eyes on it, make it a lot better. So thank you for catching that, and that's a good change.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's the only two I found.
Okay.
Well, that's
Thank
pretty
you.
good, Taru. It's a long document.
Yeah, I was only gonna peruse it, but I ended up reading the whole darn thing, or most of it anyway. I have a couple of questions though. Do you do random drug testing?
We only do, I've done it twice. If I suspect something, I'll do it. I haven't suspected anything, but I've done it twice when there was a bad reading on an application. So I pulled somebody in and did it, and I did it for another situation.
Okay, I just wondered, because I know the interurban, of course, they're driving constantly. They do random, so I just wondered if you did or not. That's probably it. Thank you very much for all your
Sure. Thanks, Taru.
answering.
Jane, should I continue?
Sure.
Okay, so as you know, this was could have been quite a process. Fortunately for me and for the fire district, and it speaks volumes of our staff and their willingness to become union for the right reasons, for some security. And we worked with all legal representation. We have got approval from the fire district attorney. You can see the letter up on the screen in your packet. So I'm proud to present with the two amendments, the collective bargaining agreement for your review and hopefully for your approval tonight. And there's a sample motion.
Yeah, I lost it.
It's on the screen if you can.
There it is. Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt the collective bargaining agreement dated 9/20/2021 as presented, that will become effective immediately between the Saugatuck Township Fire District and Saugatuck Area Professional Firefighters Union, Local 5291 of the International Association of Firefighters, AFL-CIO, and to authorize the fire chief and fire board chairperson to execute the agreement.
Could I have a second, please?
I'll support.
Okay, Beckman supports. I have a motion by Pullen and a support by Beckman. Is there any discussion?
Only thing I would say is express not only appreciation to everybody involved in putting the thing together, but also for Jeff's opinion, which is helpful. And I think, I don't know if Eric requested attorney review or whatever, but whoever, any difference, I'm happy to have it as part of this.
I, Dan.
Okay, with that being said, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. Pullen,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Verplank,
Yes.
Phelps,
Yes.
and Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0, madam.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to new business. Item A is the MERS Retirement Health Savings Plan adoption.
So, there we go. Thank you. So what we wanted to do was try to have a better plan that had no impact on the fire district budget. And this just outlines the retiree health care savings plan. And what we did is just build this in to the collective bargaining agreement which we had, but it just clarifies it. We had all these layers of benefits that were never really identified, to the point that Peter and I didn't even know what we had because some of it occurred before Peter and I were even around. So we wanted to identify these benefits, and this is one way that we changed the retiree health savings account so that they could contribute more money out of their pockets for the day when they retire. Next week, 10 years, whatever. So basically, essentially, that's what this is.
So I'll take a motion. Scott?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt the MERS retiree health savings program as presented. Fire District Fire Administrative Board is authorized by the plan documents to amend the retirees health savings plan and MERS at its leisure.
Second.
I have a motion by Phelps and second by Fox. Is there any more discussion on this? Okay, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. Phelps,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Verplank,
Yes.
Poland,
Yes.
and Miller.
Yes.
Passes 7-0, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank
Now
you.
to continue our housekeeping program with MERS, we'll go to item B.
Find it, there it is.
May I, Jane?
Yeah, go ahead.
What this is we actually got this concept and language from the city of Saugatuck. We like the way that longevity was recognized. This board has always been supportive of taking care of our longstanding employees. There's only 3 of us that qualify for the 5-year vesting, so to speak. And what this does is strengthen or increase the amount of contributions from the employer and the employee. And it should be self-explanatory. Again, we got this from the city of Saugatuck, so I want to give them the credit for the language. Ryan was very open with this and very willing to share the information. And we thought, since we were at this time introducing all this and cleaning up the defined contributions, that we would switch to this as a way of recognizing longevity. And I supported it. Yeah, I've been here a long time, but there's going to be other people that are going to fall into the 15-year category eventually. But again, there's only 3 of us that qualify for the 5-year vesting. So this will have an impact. But I think this board has always taken heart to recognizing long-term employees. And I think this is one way to show that support.
Okay, thank you, Greg. I'll take a motion.
I can't read the whole motion, so.
I'll make it bigger for you. Hold on.
Stacy, when I go ahead.
No,
there
it's fine.
Okay, I'll make a motion to amend the MERS defined contribution plan based on length of service longevity. The Saugatuck Township Fire District employer will contribute 2% of base pay, and the employee will defer 2% of base pay after 5 years of service. Then after 10 years, the employer will contribute 4% of base pay, and the employee defer 4% of base pay after 10 years of service. Then after 15 years, the employer will contribute 6% of base pay, and the employee defers 6% of base pay for 15 years of service. The Fire District Fire Administrative Board is authorized by plan documents to amend the defend contribution plan with MERS at its leisure.
Okay, that's the defined contribution plan. Okay, could I have a second, please?
I'll second.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Scott.
Okay, I have a motion by Pullen and a second by Scott Phelps. Is there a discussion? Okay, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. Pullen,
Yes.
Phelps,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes,
Verplank,
Yes.
and Miller.
Yes.
Passes
Okay.
7-0, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving
Thank
into
you.
item C, Michigan Municipal Risk Management Association Annual Review, Renewal Review, I'm sorry. Greg, will you-
So at the board's pleasure, I handle the renewal for our general liability and property insurance. And you can see it's been delayed. It's due July 1st. Here's the reason why. Essentially what they did is introduced a new policy that when a fire vehicle and apparatus, not smaller trucks like what I drive, when a fire apparatus reaches the year, 16th year, they cut the value by 50%. And Chris and I had a problem with that. We were one of the first departments for them to implement that on. And we've also been one of the departments that they kind of run things past to see how the reception is on policy change, premium changes and all that. And we objected politely and we showed them documentation why they should not be doing that. We're not Chicago, Detroit, where we're running 5 or 6 fires a day. Our vehicles are taken care of. The use is not there. We'd have to challenge the ability for them to reduce it by 50%. We know of 2 fire departments in the last 6 months that have rolled trucks. It happens. Hopefully it will never happen with us. But if it does, we want to make sure we can replace that truck. That's why this was a very important milestone to achieve, because our representation from MMRMA took it back to administrators and they rethought their position and reinstated the full value of the trucks. The insurance carrier preaches this. They'll come to me and say, okay, you paid $150,000 for that tanker. Yep. What's going to cost you to replace it? 600. That's what you should be insuring it for. But we pay for that per 1,000, but it's very minimal. It's nominal amount. So the same thing happened with the aerial. What would it cost to replace the aerial nowadays? About $1.2 million. So we had to find out what they were willing to insure those vehicles for. And that's where we came up with the 800, and that's where we came up with the 600,000. Then when they brought in the renewal, that slashed that 50%. And then next year we have another tanker that gets reduced 50%. Chris and I objected. So I'm happy to say for this year that's been reversed. It's full agreed value. So I think that's a milestone for this department. And I'm glad we did it.
Thank you very much. I think that's well worth it.
You're welcome. So the premium is $36,161 from $33,589, up about almost 8%, about $2,500 and change. What do we get on net asset distribution? Asset distribution. As you know, we're membership owned. So we have the advantage of we don't spend a lot of money. We may get some money back. In this case, we got $5,700 back from the insurance. Our first $50,000 is a state pool. We got $1,500 back from that. So a little over $7,000 you will get reimbursed to the fire district, which would lower your costs. So you're in the $29,000 for insurance. Grants this year, grants are at 5,600. And then you can see the net or the member account summary is self-explanatory, that recaptures the asset distribution, state pool funds and the grants. That is pretty much the summary. One policy change, which they did as a result of COVID, was they will not cover any communicable diseases. They just eliminated it from their policies because it was too hard to prove where somebody got COVID or vice versa. Usually that's a workers' compensation claim. As you may know, MMRMA is not our workers' compensation company. That's Lighthouse. General liability, property damage is MMRMA. And if there are any questions, I will try to answer them.
Are there any questions? Okay, let's move on to staffing discussion.
I wanted to make the board aware that we have had in the last 6 months, one of them is on the line now, 2 people retire from responding during the day, and huge loss for us. Eric will only be our IT director now, which is a huge asset in itself, but will not be responding to calls. And David Blatt has retired. Once in a while, he'll come out to help those that can't attend. One person got married. We were shorthanded. David took a shift. The other situation that we have is we had 2 very experienced part-time paid personnel. Between the 2 of them, 64 years of experience. And one got a full-time job, one got a job 4 days a week. So we are in a situation where next month I will be coming to you with a recommendation. I wanted to let the board know that our daytime staffing pool of candidates has dwindled to 4 less people. Any
Okay.
questions?
What will you be presenting next month?
I'll be coming to the board with an idea, recommendation
Okay,
to replace the staffing.
okay,
So
thank you.
want to let you know. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Moving on to correspondence, there's several thank you notes.
May I, Jane?
Sure, go ahead.
Big congratulations. There was a gas leak at one of the condominium subdivisions, and the duty crew just did a splendid job. That this particular person wrote me an email. Chris's crew, Chris Mantles, led this investigation, and they were so impressed, the residents, that they wrote a letter, wanted the board to know about it. So I wanted to share that with you. Good job, Chris.
Thank you. It was a team effort, not just me.
Your crew. And then we have a thank you for smoke detectors from the Hardy family, which is always nice to get. And we also have a nice warm thank you from the city of Saugatuck for the 4th of July staffing of the fireworks. That concludes the correspondence, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, moving on to public comment. Are there any public comments? See anybody?
Yes, Sean has his hand up, it appears.
Okay, Sean.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Sean Abbey. I'm the IFF service rep that assisted the firefighters union with negotiating the first contract. I want to be very brief and just say thank you very much to your team and to the firefighters. It was a very, it was a great process. You have a great team. I knew that coming in. I've heard nothing but good things about Chief Janik and his crew. And when I first met with the firefighters, they said they had no gripes with the board or the chief, which sometimes is the case. They just wanted to kind of solidify things and make sure they had everything in writing so that everything was set and they kind of knew their benefits. And I said, okay, we'll see how this goes. And by all means, the whole process and the way it went and by the actions today, it obviously is You guys are very, work well together and have a great relationship. And I want to say that I've had other people that do what I do across the state have boards and chiefs that are the other way, that fight, and it ends up being toxic. Firefighters leave, board members get upset, chiefs get upset, and it's not good for anybody. And the process was exactly the opposite here. It was a pleasure to do business with everybody, and you should be proud of your team. And I know I thank the board members for their support, and I appreciate your time.
We try.
Thank you, Sean. Yeah, we are pretty cohesive. We keep the drama down at our fire department. Okay,
Drama get to nowhere.
moving on to fire board comments. Stacy.
Yeah, I wanted to let you know that we have hired a building inspector, Eric Davis, who started last Monday. And he's busy learning what he can from Al and going through our books. And we will definitely be getting together and through the next few weeks so that he can meet everybody at the fire department, and maybe we can get together and have a introduction with him.
Great.
Okay, thank you, Stacy.
Right.
And Scott.
Oh, I have nothing this week.
Aaron? Aaron, I think you're muted.
Yep, thanks. Nothing from here.
Okay, thank you. Dan?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
True?
Yeah, I just wanted to say in the union contract, the part I really like is the strike lockout, where neither the employee or the employer can strike or lock out, so that everything will continue. I'm glad to see that in writing. That's all.
Okay, Eric.
No, nothing. We just got to keep the fight on Blue Star and Old Allegan, and I think we're going in the right direction, and I think that's a good thing. So everyone keep up the battle, so to speak.
Okay, I'd kind of like to leave you with a thought tonight. Greg and Chris are on their way to the Fire Inspectors Conference in Mount Pleasant this evening, and they'll be there for a week. And we have 3 certified fire inspector, 1, 2, 3, and plan examiners. We've spent a great deal of money on these people. They're very, very learned in their field. And we also have 2 level 1 plan or fire inspectors. So we spend a lot of money on fire inspectors and learning the law, and I'm a little confused as to why we end up in these lawsuits. We end up with lawyers telling us how to fight fires. The first that we had, the first Board of Appeals, was a lawyer that was telling us how to fight fires, and they didn't think they should put a water supply in for a development. 3 years late, it was for 1 barn. We didn't need a water supply. 3 years later, there's a whole development on 135th. There's so many toy barns, you can't count them. And we won that. They put in a water supply, but we spend a lot of money spinning our wheels. And I just would like to make people aware of that. I mean, we train these inspectors, and then they're constantly challenged for knowing the law. So I really think we need to stop and think about that and why this is happening continually, or it's becoming a real thing. So with that, it's just some food for thought for the next meeting.
Well, people sue like crazy. That's the problem.
No, we seem to have attorneys running the fire department, and I find that.
No, I agree. We need to talk about that. You're right. We need to talk about that more.
Okay, so with that, I'll ask for an adjournment. Oh, Greg?
Jane,
Yeah.
may I?
Yes.
I know I'm not a fire board member, but I wanted to thank the board profoundly for the approvals tonight, particularly in recognizing, arguably, I have the best staff in Western Michigan. They make this department. They made me. And what you did tonight in recognizing their desire to be union and organized speaks volumes of this board. I brag about this board to Lansing. You're known in the state of Michigan, and I mean that straight from the heart. I thank you for everything you do for my staff, because without them, this place is going to fall apart. And I do have the best staff, so thank you.
Well, you're welcome, Greg.
You're
And-
welcome.
And you and Chris belong to the very elite group of fire inspectors, and we thank you for that.
Thank
Yes,
you.
we do.
Thank you.
And much else.
Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn now?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Have a second, please.
Second,
Motion by Pullen, second by Fox. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. Adjourn at 4:57 PM. Pullen,
Yes.
Fox,
yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Plank,
Yes.
Phelps,
Yes.
and Miller.
Yes.
Passes 7-0, Madam Chair. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you.
next month.
Thank you.